Good morning. This is Knowledge Time. Welcome, alchemists. Today I'll be reading from the book The Laws of Human Nature by Robert Greene. I'll be reading from chapter 5, and this is part 3, Strategies for Stimulating Desire. The key to making this law work for you is to objectify yourself and what you produce. Normally, you are locked in your own thoughts and dreams. You imagine people should love and respect you for who you are. You believe what you produce should naturally excite people. After all, you have invested a lot of effort and have high hopes for success. But others see none of this. To them, you are just a person among others. And as a person, you inspire either curiosity and excitement or indifference and even hostility. They project onto they project onto you their own fantasies and preconceptions. Once made public, your work is also an object completely divorced from your own hopes and dreams, and it inspires emotions that are weak or strong. To the degree that you can see yourself and what you produce as objects that people perceive in their own manner, you will have the power to alter their perceptions and create objects of desire. The following are the 3 strategies for creating such objects. Number 1, know how and when to withdraw. This is the essence of the art. You have a presence that people see and interpret. If you are too obvious with this, if people can read you too easily and figure you out, if you show your needs too visibly, then they will unconsciously begin to have a degree of disrespect. Over time, they will lose interest. Your presence must have a touch of coldness to it, as if you feel like you could do without others. This signals to people that you consider yourself worthy of respect, which unconsciously heightens your value in their eyes. It makes people want to chase after you. This touch of coldness is the first form of withdrawal that you must practice. Add to this a bit of blankness and ambiguity as to who you are. Your opinion, values, and tastes are never too obvious to people. This gives them room to read into you what they want. Movie stars are masters of this. They turn their faces and their presence into screens upon which people can project their own fantasies. What you want in general is to create an air of mystery and to attract interpretations. Once you sense that you have engaged people's imaginations, that you have your hooks in them, then you must see physical absence and withdrawal. You are not so available. A day or week can go by without your presence. You create a feeling of emptiness inside them, a touch of pain. You occupy increasing amounts of their mental space in these absences. They come to want more of you, not less. The musician Michael Jackson played this game to perfection on the social level. He was deeply aware of the dangers of saturating the market with his music and public appearance. He spread out the release of his albums, making the public hungry for more. He carefully managed the frequency of his interviews and performances and never talked about the meaning of his lyrics or propagated any overt message. He occasionally had his publicists leak to the press some new stories surrounding him, such as his use of hyperbaric chambers as a way to maintain eternal youthfulness. He would neither confirm nor deny these stories, and the press would run wild. He was someone who sparked stories and rumors, but nothing concrete. Through his strategic elusiveness, he made himself an object of continual desire, both to know him better and to possess his music. With the work you produce, you can create similar covetous effects. Always leave the presentation and the message relatively open-ended. People can read into your work several interpretations. Never define exactly how they should take or use it. This is why the work of great dramaticists such as Shakespeare and Chekhov has lasted for so many centuries and always seem so fresh and exciting. Each generation can read into their plays what they want to. These writers describe timeless elements of human nature without judging or directing the audience to what they should feel or think. Take take that as the model for whatever you produce. Keep in mind the following. The more active our imagination becomes, the greater the pleasure we derive from it. When we were children, we were if we were given a name with explicit instructions and rules, we quickly lost interest. But if the game was something we invented or was loosely structured, allowing us to inject our own ideas and fantasies, we could sustain our interest for much longer. When we view an abstract painting that evokes dreams or fantasies, or see a film that is not easily interpreted, or hear a joke or advertisement that is ambiguous, we are the ones who do the interpreting. And we find it exciting to be able to exercise our imagination in this way. Through your work, you want to stimulate this pleasure for people to the maximum degree. Number two, create rivalries of desire. Human desire is never an individual phenomena. We are social creatures, and what we want almost always reflects what other people want. This stems from our earliest years. We saw the attention that our parents could give us, the object we first coveted. As a zero as a zero sum game, if our siblings received a lot of attention, then there would be less for us. We had to compete with them and with others to get attention and affection. When we saw our siblings or friends receive something, a gift or a favor, it sparked a competitive desire to have the same thing. If some object or person was not desired by others, we tended to see it as something indifferent or distasteful. There must be something wrong with it. This becomes a lifelong pattern. For some, it is more overt. In relationships, they are interested only in men or women who are already taken, who are clearly desired by a third party. Their desire is to take away this loved object to triumph over the other person, a dynamic that most certainly has roots in their childhood. If other people are making money through some new gimmick, they want not only to participate but to corner the market. For others, it is subtler. They see they see people possessing something that seems exciting, and their desire is not to take but to share and participate in the experience. In either direction, when we see people or things desired, by others, it drives up their value. You must learn how to exploit this. If you can somehow create the impression that others desire you or your work, you will pull people into your current without having to say a word or impose yourself. They will come to you. You must strive to surround yourself with this social aura, or at least create the illusion. You can create this effect in several ways. You manage it so that your object is seen or heard everywhere, even encouraging piracy if necessary, as Chanel did. You don't directly intervene. This will inevitably spark some kind of viral pool. You can speed up this process by feeding rumors or stories about the object through various media. People will begin to talk, and the word of mouth will spread the effect. Even negative comments or controversy will do the trick, sometimes even better than praise. It will give your object a provocative and transgressive edge. Anyway, people are drawn toward the negative. Your silence or lack of overt direction of the message will allow people to run wild with their own stories and interpretations. You can also get important people or tastemakers to talk about it and fan the flames. What you are offering, they say, is new, revolutionary, something not seen or heard of before. You are trafficking in the future, in trends. At a certain point, enough people will feel the pull and will not want to be left out, which will pull in others. The only problem in this game is that in the world today you have much competition for these setting off these chain reactions, but a renewing them or creating new ones. As an individual, you must make it clear that people desire you, that you have a past. Not too much of a past to inspire mistrust, but enough to signal that others have found you desirable. You want to be indirect in this. You want them to hear stories of your past. You want them to literally see the attention you receive from men or women. All of this without your saying a word. And bragging or explicit signaling of this will neutralize the effect. In any negotiation situation, you must always strive to bring in a third or fourth party to vie for your services, creating a rivalry of desire. This will immediately enhance your value, not just in terms of a bidding war, but also in the fact that people will see that others covet you. Number three, use induction. We may think we live in a time of great freedom compared with the past, but in fact we live in a world that is more regulated than ever before. Our every move is followed digitally. There are more laws than ever governing all aspects of human behavior. Political correctness, which has always existed, can be more intense because of how visible we have become on social media. Secretly, most of us feel bothered or crushed by all of these constraints on our physical and mental movement. We yearn for what is transgressive and beyond the limits that are set for us. We can easily be pulled toward that repressed no or yes. You want to associate your object with something ever so slightly illicit, unconventional, or politically advanced. Chanel did this with her overt androgynous appeal and flouting of gender roles. The fight between generations is always ripe material for this. What you offer is in bold contrast to the stodgy previous generation. John F. Kennedy did this by setting himself off against the 1950s and the Eisenhower era, a time of stultifying conformity. By contrast, voting for him meant youth, vigor, and a lost masculinity. In essence, he played to the secret resentment of the father figure and the transgressive desire to get rid of him. This desire is always tactily out there among the young, and it always has a taboo element attached. One illicit desire that almost all people share is voyeurism, to peek inside the private lives of others, violate strict social taboos on privacy, and yet everyone feels the pull to see what is going on behind people's doors. Theater and film depend upon these voyeuristic desires. They put us inside people's rooms, and we experience this almost as if we were literally spying on people. You can incorporate this into your work by giving the impression you are revealing secrets that should really not be shared. Some will be outraged, but everyone will be curious. These could be secrets about yourself and how you accomplished what you did, or it could be about others. What happens behind the closed doors of powerful people and the laws that they operate by. In any event, what you offer should be new, unfamiliar, and exotic, or at least presented as such. The contrast to what is out there, so numbingly conventional, will create a covetous pull. Finally, dangle in front of people the prospect of grasping the unattainable or the impossible. Life is full of all kinds of irritating limits and difficulties. To become wealthy or successful requires great effort. We are locked inside our own character, see chapter 4, and cannot become someone else. We cannot recover our lost youth or the health that went with it. Every day brings us closer to death, the ultimate limit. Your object, however, offers the fantasy of a quick path to wealth and success, of recovering lost youth, of becoming a new person, and even of conquering death itself. People will grasp greedily at such things because they are considered so impossible. By the law of induction, we can imagine all of these shortcuts and fantasies, just as we can imagine a unicorn, which gives us the desire to reach them, and imagining them is almost like experiencing them. Remember, It is not possession, but desire that secretly impels people. To possess something inevitably brings about some disappointment and sparks the desire for something new to pursue. You are preying upon the human need for fantasies and the pleasure of chasing after them. In this sense, your effort must be continually renewed. Once people get what they want or possess you, your value and their respect for you immediately begin to lower. Keep withdrawing, surprising, and stimulating the chase. As long as you do, you have the power. In conclusion, subscribe to the channel, comment any questions you have, like if the information was inspiring for you, and share this knowledge with other alchemists. Also, follow me on Instagram for more progressive knowledge. My Instagram is Max Bugatti 8008. I'm all about family first. I'm a global stock investor. I'm a filmmaker. I'm an aerospace botanist. I'm all about masculine confidence building. And I'm currently out here in Cali, Colombia. While you're slaying dragons, I'll be taming them.